Hey there, happy Monday everybody! So it was always a treat to get to go to Baskin-Robbins as a kid, and one of my favorite flavors was bubblegum. So I'm going to try to make some bubblegum ice cream. So as always, we'll start with our 1 cup of heavy cream, 1 cup of whole milk, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, and we'll bring that up to a simmer. Now I was hoping to make this using pure ingredients, right? I know that orange and lemon and banana are all kind of part of the bubblegum flavor, but as I was doing some research, it turns out that that's not really a possibility. So we are going to make it with all extracts, and that may make this a little bit more, we'll say, on the boring side, but we'll find out. So we start with banana extract, and obviously I have used this before. So we have 1 teaspoon of banana extract. We've got some vanilla extract here. We have a teaspoon of that, some orange extract, and we just need a 1/2 teaspoon of orange. And finally, some lemon extract, and just a 1/2 teaspoon of that as well. And I'm mixing that up separately in one of my little single-serve ice cream containers, mainly because I want to smell it. I don't know that I want to give it a taste. It's going to be pretty much all alcohol until it's mixed into some stuff. So here is our bubblegum flavoring, and it definitely does smell like bubblegum, but we're going to set that aside while we finish the custard. Now that it's steaming, we will go ahead and temper our 4 egg yolks, and then pour it back in, and we'll go ahead and cook this. All right, looks good. We'll go ahead and kill the heat. Now, one ingredient, and this is mainly for color. So some of the recipes out there call for strawberry puree. And again, mainly for color, more so than flavor. And we're just gonna add this a little bit at a time. And look, we did not learn our lesson about mixing dry ingredients into the wet. So I've taken some of that last cup of heavy cream that we always add, and sort of tried to at least make a slurry. There's still some clumps, but I wasn't going to strain this out. I was going to take the risk, but now I'm thinking that maybe straining is the right move. So we'll just go ahead and get this poured in. Go ahead and mix this up and see what kind of color we have. It's not as pink as I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a little bit more on the pink side, but I think the yellow from the egg is sort of overpowering everything. And because I'm expecting a decent amount of solids, I'm going to use the strainer over a Pyrex. And we'll just go ahead and try and strain this out. This will also let me sort of push on the back of the solids so that we can incorporate as much of them as possible. So now we have a relatively smooth mixture here. Like I said, I wish it was just a little more pink. I may add some pink food coloring right before churning time. I may not. We may try and keep this as, well, this is unnatural, so I should keep it as unnatural as possible. We'll go ahead and get this into a container and add the rest of that remaining cup of heavy cream. We'll have our spoon ready because now we can add our bubblegum extract, and I'm gonna go for broke. I'm just adding all of it. Oh, it smells like bubblegum. Now, the bubblegum smell is really coming through. I did not taste that extract, mainly because I didn't want to. I know what happens when you try and sample extracts. It really just burns your tongue and then you get no flavor. So we'll go ahead and taste this and see how it tastes. That tastes pretty bubblegummy. So we'll go ahead and lid it up and put it in the freezer. Now, I don't think this is a great idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. I want to go ahead and try making this a more natural ice cream, bubblegum ice cream. So I'm just doing a small batch here. This is about, we'll call this a 1/2 batch. So all of our standard ingredients, I'm not even going to tell you quantities because I don't think I would recommend this. And we have to have our vanilla bean. And you know what? Vanilla was one of the stronger flavors, so we'll add a little bit more than I normally would. We'll add basically what I would add to a normal full batch of ice cream. And I have, this is where I start to question this. I have about a, 72.7% chance of this failing, but we're gonna try it anyway. the zest of 1 orange, the zest of 1 lemon, there's still salt on my finger, and 1 mashed banana. And I'm really only bringing this up over heat to really infuse a lot of that citrus zest into the ice cream. We probably should strain it, but since this is probably cursed anyway, I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it lumpy, and we'll just see how it turns out. If this ends up being a success, then I don't know. I'll give up ice cream. And the reason I don't think this is going to work is the banana. I don't think that the banana flavor, obviously bananas don't taste like banana flavoring. This does not taste like a banana. And I don't know that that's going to play well with the overall bubblegum flavor that we're looking for. Although I'm really getting the citrus and the vanilla notes as this is starting to come up to a simmer. All right, the first few bubbles are just starting to break, so I'm going to kill the heat. I'm just gonna let this steep at temperature for a couple of minutes before I pour it into the container. Okay, let's go ahead and get this poured into a container. Definitely lumpy. I might actually hit this with the immersion blender. But since I'm going to be blending it anyway, I have about 1.5 teaspoons each of the lemon juice and the orange juice from the citrus that we zested. That's just to bring a little bit of brightness and acidity. We'll just hit this with the immersion blender to mash up the rest of those bananas. And the remaining 1/2 cup of cream. Give it a stir and a taste. Well, it's not bubble gum, but it's actually kind of nice. So I don't know. We'll see how this turns out. Both of these go in the fridge. Okay, it's time to get the bubblegum ice cream churning. And we'll be back in a 1/2 hour. Okay, and I'm just going to pause for a moment here to draw out probably 2 of my containers worth. Because now I have 2, they're not sticks of gum, right? Because they're not sticks. What would we call them? Gobbets of gum? That's what I'm going with at least. And I'm just going to sprinkle those in because the Baskin-Robbins version does have pieces of gum in them. And I have coated them in a little bit of cornstarch. And that's just to keep them from sticking to each other. And we'll go ahead and churn this up just to get that mixed. And because I want to make sure that I can identify this as bubblegum, I'm just going to add a couple of drops of pink food coloring. We didn't get quite enough pink from the strawberry powder, so I'm just going to add a little bit here. All right, we'll go ahead and get this scooped into a container. I'm pretty pleased with the pink color that we ended up with. And it smells like bubblegum, but we'll see how it tastes after we have a chance to freeze it hard. Okay, it's time to give the bubblegum ice cream a try. We've got a nice soft squeeze to it. And it feels like it's gonna scoop pretty well, and it did. So, pretty nice scoops. It's melting pretty quickly in the bowl, so let's hurry up and give this a try. So this spoonful has a little piece of gum in it, and that tastes just like bubblegum. I could do without the little bubblegum pieces. What did I call them? Gobbets? The little gobbets of gum. Just that ice cream in and of itself tastes a lot like bubblegum, which obviously is what we're trying to do. So mission accomplished there, at least. It's interesting. I don't pick up any of the individual flavorings that we used here. I don't pick up the vanilla, the lemon, the orange, or the banana. It all just sort of melds into a nice bubblegummy flavor. But overall, texture-wise, the ice cream itself is nice and smooth and creamy. It's a lot like what we've been accustomed to lately. The gum pieces themselves, being frozen, they're kind of hard, but they loosen up rather quickly and become chewy like bubblegum, but they are maybe a little too hard to have included in the ice cream. I kind of wish I had left those out. But as far as the gum ice cream itself, I would definitely make that again. It's a nice change. It's a nice change of pace. A little bit of nostalgia there too. But now let's try this natural monstrosity of a bubblegum ice cream. It's a little more firm. Again, I don't think, did we make this a custard? I don't think it was a custard. So it is a little more firm, but it's not terribly firm. I can tell you right away, even though I'm going in for a second bite, this is not good. I do pick up pretty much all of the individual flavors. The orange and lemon sort of combine, you know, just for a general citrus flavor. The banana is, I don't know, it's banana. And the only one that maybe gets lost is the vanilla. I don't really pick that up. This one, you know, we kind of expected it. It was very much a fly by the seat of your pants. Let's just see how this works. And the answer is it doesn't. It really doesn't. But this, with the flavorings as opposed to the more natural lemon lime, or sorry, lemon, orange, and banana, I think it's the imitation banana flavoring that really pulls this one together. This one, not so much. Yep, this is far superior. But overall, definitely not making this one again. Probably will try making this again without the gum. The gum, you know, I know Baskin-Robbins has pieces of gum in theirs, but I think it works better without. And I would maybe just tweak it a little bit. Maybe, I don't want to say I would double the flavorings, but maybe an extra 25 to 33%, somewhere between a quarter and a third more, I think would really make this pop just a little bit. But overall, very good. And I'll definitely be making this again. Hope you all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!